You can't be serious, Trevor. Who is she? I demanded, my voice trembling with a mix of anger and disbelief. Trevor didn't flinch. I'm dead serious. This is Jasmine. We're moving in together, and I want a divorce, he declared, his eyes cold and unfeeling. The woman standing next to him, with her perfectly manicured nails and smug expression, chimed in, Pack your bags, Monica. Your time's up. I felt the ground shift beneath me. My eyes darted between Trevor and Jasmine, searching for some hint of a joke, a misunderstanding, anything, but their unwavering expressions confirmed the awful truth. After 25 years, this is how you do it, I whispered, barely able to form the words. Trevor shrugged. It's time for a change. I'm tired of the same routine. Jasmine makes me feel alive. And what about your children? What about our life? I pleaded, hoping to stir some emotion in him. They're adults now. They'll understand, he stated callously. Jasmine smirked, her eyes flicking over me dismissively. You should have seen it coming, Monica. Men get bored. They want excitement. How dare you? I spat, every ounce of my being quaking with rage. Trevor stepped closer, his face inches from mine. Don't make a scene, just leave. My knuckles whitened as I clenched them, a flood of memories flashing through my mind, our wedding day, the birth of Erica and Danny, years spent building a life together. I squared my shoulders, refusing to give them the satisfaction of seeing me break. You don't get to decide that, I said quietly but firmly. As I walked away from them, I could hear Jasmine's voice dripping with smugness. We'll start moving things in tomorrow. Make sure you're out by then. I stumbled up the stairs, my heart aching. In our bedroom, I sank onto the bed, head in my hands. I heard Trevor's footsteps behind me. You can't just leave us like this, I said without turning around. Watch me. He replied, his voice void of any emotion. Tears streamed down my face as I tried to process what had just happened. How could everything change so fast? The door creaked open, and Jasmine strutted in, scanning the room as if it was already hers. I hope you don't mind if I take a look around. I stood up abruptly. Get out, I demanded, my voice shaking. She tilted her head slightly. Suit yourself. You'll be gone soon anyway. They left, leaving a suffocating silence in their wake. I looked around the room, at the life we had built, now hanging in the balance. The wedding photo on the nightstand, the drawings Erica and Danny had made as kids, everything felt like a cruel joke. I had to figure out my next move. I needed help, but who would understand? As I grabbed my cell phone, I dialed Lisa's number, my best friend since high school. Her familiar voice answered, Hey, Monica, long time no hear. Lisa, it's Trevor. He's leaving me, I managed to say through tears. There was a pause then. What? Tell me everything. I took a deep breath and began to recount the events. With each word, I felt a small measure of relief. I don't know what to do, Lisa. He brought her to our home, told me to leave. Stay right where you are. I'm coming over, she said, her voice filled with determination. As I hung up, I felt a flicker of hope. I wasn't alone. I could survive this betrayal. I had to. For Erica and Danny, for myself. I heard the garage door open and close at odd hours, signaling Trevor's comings and goings. Most nights he didn't come home at all. When he did, it was usually with Jasmine. She treated our home like it was hers, strutting around with a possessive air that made my blood boil. Today was no different. I was in the kitchen when they walked in, laughing about something trivial. Trevor barely glanced at me as he passed by, heading straight into the living room. Don't you have something better to do? Jasmine sneered, eyeing the grocery bag in my hand. I didn't respond, focusing on unloading the groceries, anything to keep my hands busy and my mind off the venomous words that burned inside me. She strolled over to the dining table, deliberately knocking over a vase of fresh flowers. Petals scattered across the table, a once beautiful arrangement, now a mess. Oops, how clumsy of me, she said with a fake gasp. I clenched my jaw. Why do you keep coming here, Jasmine? You have your own place. She smirked, tilting her head. Because I can. Trevor likes having me around. Don't you, sweetheart? She called out to Trevor, who was mindlessly flipping through TV channels. Yeah, sure. Trevor responded without enthusiasm, his eyes glued to the screen. In that moment, the phone rang, startling all of us. I picked it up, recognizing Erica's voice immediately. Hey, Mom, Danny and I are coming home this weekend. We thought it'd be nice to spend some time together. Is that okay? Of course, sweetie. I can't wait to see you both, I said, forcing a smile into my voice. See you soon. Love you, she said cheerfully before hanging up. I turned back to see Jasmine leaning against the counter, arms crossed. Looks like the kids are coming over. Should we tell them the news, or do you want the honors? They're coming to see their mother, not you, I snapped. Trevor finally tore his eyes from the TV. They should know. Sooner or later, they'll find out, he said dismissively. Not now, I insisted, my voice trembling. We'll talk when they're here. Jasmine rolled her eyes. Fine, just make sure you're ready for that conversation. The weekend arrived quickly. Erica and Danny burst through the front door, filling the house with the laughter and liveliness it had been missing. I hugged them both tightly, savoring every moment. Mom, is everything okay? You seem off, Erica observed, her brow furrowed in concern. Danny nodded, glancing towards the living room where Trevor and Jasmine were sitting. Yeah, what's going on? He asked. Taking a deep breath, I led them to the kitchen, away from prying eyes. There's something you need to know, I began, struggling to find the right words. Your father and we're getting a divorce. He's been seeing someone else. Erica's eyes widened in shock, while Danny clenched his fists. Are you serious? Dad, how could you? Erica shouted as she stormed into the living room. Trevor looked up at her, unbothered. It's complicated. We're just going in different directions. Danny followed, his voice trembling with rage. Complicated? You're destroying our family. Jasmine stood up, looking between all of us. Trevor needs someone who can keep up with him. Monica couldn't handle it. Simple as that. The room fell into a tense silence as Erica turned to me, her eyes filled with empathy and anger. Mom, we'll help you through this. You don't deserve any of this, she said softly. Danny nodded. We'll make sure you're okay. You're not alone. In that moment, I felt a surge of strength. Their love and support gave me hope. This was just the beginning, but already I felt a resolve solidifying within me. With Erica and Danny by my side, I could face whatever lay ahead. Sunday morning, the weight of last night's conversation hung heavily in the air. Erica and Danny were unusually quiet during breakfast. Trevor and Jasmine, predictably, were nowhere to be found. As we cleared the plates, Erica turned to me, her eyes filled with concern. Mom, you should really think about the divorce. Get ahead of this, she urged, her voice steady. I know, sweetheart, but it's all so overwhelming, I replied, wiping my hands on a dish towel. Danny joined in, his tone filled with determination. We're with you, Mom. You don't have to face this alone. Just then, the front door opened and Trevor walked in, followed by Jasmine. They were laughing, oblivious to the emotional wreckage they had left behind. Morning, everyone, Trevor announced, attempting a cheerful tone. Erica's eyes narrowed. Dad, how can you act like nothing happened? Jasmine smirked, slinging her arm through Trevor's. We just had a great breakfast. What's the problem, Erica? The problem, Jasmine, Danny shot back, is that you have no respect for our mom or our family. You waltz in here like you own the place. Trevor raised his hands in a gesture of peace. Calm down, Danny. There's no need for this hostility. Let's just enjoy the weekend. Erica shook her head in disbelief. Enjoy the weekend? After everything you've done? This isn't just your life, Dad. You've torn our family apart. Trevor sighed, looking genuinely puzzled. I didn't mean for it to be like this. Life just got complicated. Complicated? That's your excuse? Erica retorted, her voice rising. Jasmine stepped forward, her eyes cold. Look, maybe it's best if Monica just leaves now. It'll make it easier for everyone. I felt a fire ignite inside me. You don't get to decide when I leave, I said firmly. Trevor glanced at me, his expression hardening. Monica, why drag this out? We both know it's over. Danny stood protectively beside me. Mom has sacrificed everything for this family. She deserves better than to be thrown out like garbage. Erica nodded in agreement. Dad, if you can't see that, then you're more lost than we thought. Trevor looked taken aback by their united front. Jasmine, however, remained unfazed. Fine, stick around if you want, Monica, but just know, Trevor and I are moving forward with our life, with or without your consent. Erica turned to me, her eyes pleading. Mom, please, talk to an attorney. Protect yourself. I nodded slowly, feeling the strength their support provided. You're right. I need to start protecting myself. The rest of the day passed in strained silence, with Trevor and Jasmine acting as if nothing had changed. Later that evening, as I hugged Erica and Danny goodbye, I felt a newfound resolve. I'll be okay, I assured them, watching them drive away. That night, I dialed David, the divorce attorney Lisa had recommended. "Mr. David, I need your help," I said, gripping the phone tightly. "Of course, Monica. Let's get you through this," he responded, his voice calm and reassuring. As I ended the call, I glanced around the home I'd spent decades building. I knew this was just the beginning, but with Erica and Danny's unwavering support, I was ready to face the storm head-on. David slid a stack of papers across his desk. "These are your rights, Monica," he explained. "You deserve a fair settlement, property, alimony. Don't settle for less." I nodded, absorbing his words. "Thanks, David. I just don't know where to begin." "One step at a time," he assured me. "We'll start with the divorce papers. Have Trevor served. It's critical that you protect yourself immediately." "I appreciate that," I replied, holding the papers tightly as if they were a lifeline. Back at home, tension hung thick in the air. Trevor and Jasmine were in the living room, their laughter grating on my nerves. I took a deep breath and entered. "Trevor," I said, my voice steady, "I'm serving you with divorce papers. I've contacted a lawyer, and I'll be moving forward." His laughter stopped abruptly, replaced by a look of surprise. "You're serious?" he asked, bewildered. Jasmine scoffed, leaning back on the couch. "Finally growing a backbone, Monica? How quaint!" Ignoring her, I kept my eyes locked on Trevor. "Yes, I'm serious. I deserve better than this." Trevor stood up, his face reddening. "Where do you plan to go? You have no job, no money. How do you think you'll survive?" "I'm reactivating my nursing license," I announced. "I can take care of myself, and I'll get back to working." Jasmine's laughter was sharp. "You? Go back to work? Good luck with that." I straightened my shoulders, refusing to be intimidated. "Watch me." Over the next few days, I poured myself into making preparations. I contacted my old nursing school, signed up for refresher courses, and updated my resume. Each small victory felt like a step toward reclaiming my life. One evening, as I pored over coursework at the kitchen table, Trevor walked in. "Monica, this is ridiculous. You won't last a week as a nurse," he scoffed. "I'll take that chance," I replied without looking up. Jasmine appeared behind him, smirking. "You're really determined to prove us wrong, huh? It's almost admirable." "Almost," Trevor added with a sneer. Ignoring their jabs, I received an email from a nearby clinic looking for part-time nurses. A smile crept onto my face. "I have an interview tomorrow," I announced. Trevor rolled his eyes. "Good luck with that. Don't come crying when you fail." The next day I walked into the clinic, heart pounding. The interview went smoothly, the familiarity of the medical environment settling my nerves. I knew I could do this. Leaving the clinic, I felt lighter, my steps more confident. Later, as I packed some of my belongings, I came across an old photo of Trevor and me on our wedding day. I stared at it for a moment before placing it in the box labeled Past. That night, I called Erica and Danny, sharing the day's events. "I'm so proud of you, Mom," Erica said, her voice filled with joy. Danny chuckled, adding, "You're showing them you're stronger than they ever thought." Their support filled me with a renewed determination. I knew the road ahead would be challenging, but I was ready. The next chapter of my life was beginning, and I wasn't looking back. "Trevor, we need to talk," I said, standing firm in the living room, holding the finalized divorce papers. Trevor looked up from the TV, an annoyed expression on his face. "What now, Monica?" "These are the terms," I stated, handing him the documents. "I'll be taking half of the assets, and I want alimony. It's non-negotiable." Trevor's face reddened as he scanned the papers. "You've got to be kidding me. You really think you deserve this?" Jasmine sauntered over, peering over his shoulder. "She thinks she's entitled to it, which is laughable." I clenched my fists, trying to keep my composure. "I've given 25 years of my life to you and this family, Trevor. I deserve what I'm asking for." Trevor threw the papers onto the coffee table. "You won't get a dime more than I'm willing to give. This is outrageous." Jasmine's smug smile widened. "Good luck getting anything from us, Monica." David had prepared me for this resistance. I stood my ground. "Then we'll settle this in court. I have every right to what I've requested." Trevor's eyes blazed with anger. "Do you really want to drag this out and make it ugly for everyone? Did you ever stop to think about that before you brought her into our life?" I shot back, my voice rising. "You made this ugly, not me." Jasmine rolled her eyes. "We don't have time for your drama, Monica. We've got wedding plans to make." "Wedding plans," Erica's voice came from the hallway. She and Danny had just come in, their expressions filled with disbelief. Unbelievable, Danny muttered, shaking his head. Trevor squared his shoulders, trying to regain control. We're moving on, so should you. Erica stepped forward, her eyes blazing. How can you be so heartless, Dad? Mom deserves respect. You both are acting like this is some kind of game. We've made our decision, Jasmine retorted. Monica, it would be best if you just accepted it. I took a deep breath, looking at my children. I'm not backing down. I'll fight for what's right. Danny put a comforting hand on my shoulder. We're with you, Mom. Don't let them intimidate you. Trevor threw up his hands in frustration. Fine, do whatever you want. But know this, Monica, you'll regret it. Jasmine smirked as she linked her arm with Trevor's. You're making a mistake. I made a mistake letting you into my life, I countered, but I won't make the mistake of not standing up for myself. Leaving them in the living room, I walked towards the door, Erica and Danny beside me. For the first time in a long while, I felt genuinely supported. Let's go, Erica said, her voice filled with determination. We'll get through this together. That night, as I packed more of my belongings, I felt a sense of closure. The divorce papers were served, and I was more determined than ever to rebuild my life. I glanced back at the house one last time. It had been my prison, but now it represented a past I was ready to leave behind. I walked out with my head held high. This was the beginning of my new life, free from Trevor and his betrayal. I was ready for whatever came next. With Erica and Danny by my side, I knew I could face anything. The small, charming apartment felt vastly different from the sprawling house I had left behind. Boxes were scattered around, half unpacked, but there was a lightness in the air, a feeling of liberation. I set down a framed photo of Erica and Danny on the mantel, smiling to myself. The weekend had been a whirl of moving and settling in, with Erica and Danny helping every step of the way. Now, in the quiet of my new space, I could finally breathe again. I received a text from Lisa. Welcome to your new freedom. Dinner to celebrate? Yes, I typed back, feeling grateful for her constant support. As I started unpacking the kitchen, my phone buzzed again. This time it was from the clinic. Congratulations, Monica. You've got the job. Start next week. Relief washed over me. I had just landed a part-time nursing job. This was the beginning of something beautiful. Later that evening, Lisa arrived with a bottle of wine. To new beginnings, she toasted, raising her glass. I clinked mine with hers and took a sip. Thank you for everything, Lisa. I couldn't have done it without you. You're stronger than you give yourself credit for, she replied, squeezing my hand. By Monday, I was already settling into my new routine. I joined a yoga class at the local community center and signed up for a book club. It felt good to be reconnecting with old passions. That week, I walked into the clinic, greeted by the hustle and bustle of healthcare. The familiar scent of antiseptics and the hum of activity was oddly comforting. Julie, a nurse colleague, introduced herself. Welcome back to the field, Monica. It's great to have you on board. Thanks, Julie. It's good to be back, I replied, feeling a sense of purpose return. Throughout the day, I dived into work, grateful for the distraction. It wasn't easy, but it felt rewarding. During lunch break, Carol, a member of the book club, joined me. You must be Monica. Heard great things, excited to discuss some good reads with you. I look forward to it, I said, smiling warmly. At the end of the day, I walked out of the clinic with an overwhelming sense of accomplishment. For the first time in years, I felt valued for my own skills and hard work. One night, as I returned from yoga, I found Erica waiting for me in my living room. Thought I'd drop by and see how you're settling in, she said, embracing me. I'm doing well, actually, I replied, returning the hug. Thanks to you and Danny. Erica looked around the apartment. This place feels more like home. You really seem happier. I am, I confessed. I didn't know how much I needed this. We chatted for hours, sharing stories and laughter. It felt good, finally reconnecting with my daughter beyond the turmoil of the divorce. As the days turned into weeks, I found myself growing more comfortable in my skin, enjoying my independence. One evening after work, I received a call from Danny. Guess what, Mom? I got an internship offer in the city near you. That's wonderful news, Danny, I exclaimed, thrilled by the opportunity to see him more often. Looks like life is finally going our way, he said with a grin in his voice. I stood by the window, looking out at the bustling life outside. The chapter with Trevor was over, but a new one had just begun. For the first time in a long while, I felt hopeful and excited about the future. My life was blossoming, and I was determined to make the most of every new opportunity. Months flew by in a blur of work, yoga, and book club meetings. One afternoon, as I enjoyed a coffee with Lisa at the local cafe, she leaned in conspiratorially. "Have you heard the latest about Trevor and Jasmine?" "No." "What's up?" I asked, curiosity piqued. Lisa grinned. "It's all over town. Their marriage is falling apart. Jasmine's been calling everyone, complaining about Trevor." I took a slow sip of my coffee, letting her words sink in. Really? What did she expect? Marrying a man who cheated on his wife? As if summoned by our conversation, my phone buzzed. The screen flashed. Jasmine. I hesitated before answering. "Hello? Monica, it's Jasmine." Her voice was tense, almost desperate. "I need to talk to you." "What for?" I asked, surprised by my own indifference. "Please, it's important. Can we meet?" "Fine," I agreed, more out of curiosity than anything else. "The cafe near my place in an hour." I hung up and turned to Lisa. This should be interesting. An hour later, I spotted Jasmine at the cafe, looking frazzled and exhausted. She was a far cry from the confident woman who had invaded my life months ago. "Thanks for meeting me," she started, wringing her hands. "Get to the point, Jasmine. I have a life to get back to," I said, leaning back in my chair. "It's Trevor. He's impossible to live with. Lazy, controlling, and completely useless with our baby," she blurted out, her voice cracking. I raised an eyebrow. "Oh, and what did you expect?" Jasmine's eyes filled with tears. "I thought he'd be different with me, but I was wrong. He's a nightmare. I don't know what to do." I felt a strange sense of satisfaction, but kept my tone neutral. "Maybe you should have thought about that before breaking up a family." "Monica, please," she pleaded. "I don't know how to handle this." I stood up, feeling an overwhelming surge of empowerment. "You made your bed, Jasmine. Now you have to lie in it. I warned you about the consequences. Goodbye." As I walked away, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. Karma had finally come knocking, and it was not my job to clean up the mess it left behind. The next day at the clinic, Julie caught me during lunch. "I heard someone's having trouble at home," she said with a knowing look. "News travels fast," I replied, smiling. "Want to grab a drink after work? You could use a distraction," she suggested. "Sounds perfect," I agreed. Later that evening, as we clinked glasses at a cozy bar nearby, I realized how far I had come. Surrounded by genuine friends and flourishing in my own career, I felt a sense of pride and contentment that had been missing for years. That night, I returned to my apartment with the contentment that I had been lacking for years. I knew that this new chapter of my life was just beginning, and I was ready for whatever came next. It had been almost a year since I left Trevor, and my life had taken a turn for the better. My small apartment felt like home, and my job at the clinic was fulfilling. Erica and Danny visited often, bringing laughter and vitality into my space. One evening, Erica and I were getting ready to head to a concert, something we hadn't done together in years. "Mom, you look amazing," Erica said, smiling as she adjusted her earrings in my living room mirror. "Thanks, sweetie. It feels good to go out and enjoy life," I replied, slipping on my favorite pair of shoes. Just then, there was a knock on the door. I furrowed my brow. Who could that be? I opened the door to find Trevor standing there, looking disheveled and desperate. "Monica, can we talk?" Erica's expression hardened. "Dad, now isn't the time." Ignoring her, Trevor stepped inside, his eyes pleading. "Monica, please, I made a mistake. Leaving you was the worst decision of my life. Can we try again?" I blinked, taken aback by his sudden change of heart. "You have some nerve, Trevor, after everything you put me through?" He nodded, appearing genuinely remorseful. "I know, Monica, I was wrong. Jasmine, it was a disaster. I want to make things right." Erica stepped between us, her voice steely. "Dad, Mom has moved on. She doesn't need you to fix anything." Trevor's gaze shifted to Erica, then back to me. "I can't change the past, but I'm asking for a second chance." I took a deep breath, feeling a mix of emotions, anger, sadness, but most of all a newfound strength. "Trevor, you shattered our family and treated me with utter disrespect. I've rebuilt my life, and it's better without you. There's no going back." His face fell, but I felt only relief. "Please, Monica," he whispered. "No, Trevor," I said firmly. "You need to face the consequences of your actions. It's time for you to move on, just like I have." Erica nodded in agreement. "It's over, Dad. You need to respect that." Trevor stood there for a moment, looking defeated. Finally, he turned and walked out without another word, closing the door softly behind him. As he left, I felt an overwhelming sense of release and clarity. Erica hugged me tightly. "You did the right thing, Mom. You deserve so much better." "I know," I replied, my voice clear and resolved, "and I'm ready to embrace it." Later, at the concert, surrounded by music and joy, I felt truly free. Erica and I danced and laughed, creating new memories. Standing in the middle of the crowd, I looked around and realized how far I had come. With my daughter by my side and a world of opportunities ahead, I felt a deep sense of fulfillment. My past with Trevor was now a closed chapter. The future was mine to shape, and I was eager to fill it with happiness and growth. As the night ended and we walked back to my apartment, I looked at Erica and smiled. "Here's to new beginnings," I said, my heart light and hopeful. "Here's to your revival, Mom," Erica replied, squeezing my hand. For the first time in a long time, I felt truly at peace, ready to embrace whatever came next with a joyful, open heart.